want to present about the role of manager. The role of manager. So, how do you imagine it? This is the position or the what? How do you imagine the role of manager is it? The role of manager is not the meaning of the position, not the meaning of position. How do we consider us? Who am I? That is the who am I. What is the our role? So because in the companies, mostly companies appoint that the manager, appoint the CEO. But if we don't stand as our role, at the time, our role is where we define it. So we at first please understand the role of manager means not the position manager position. This is the meaning of who am I. So normally we can separate the manager in 3 types. Normally we can be shown 3 types of the manager. So first is the top manager, second is the middle manager, that is the lower manager, lower management. We can mention that one first is the top management, second is the middle management, and third is the lower management. So we can easily so most of the person can easily what is the thought of manager role? Thought of manager is you can imagine general manager, and their role is to make decision maker. So lower manager. Before I talk about the middle manager, I want to explain what is the lower manager. The lower manager meaning is the person who make the operation, just like the control the operation, make the operations, just like the getting the order and doing the operation and reporting to the customer, communicate with the customer, prepare the reporting and talking with the customer, just like the operation person. So this is called the lower manager, not the decision maker, just like the making the operation, processing person. You can issue a processing person, operation person. So to be control that lower manager, one must monitoring. The person who monitoring the lower manager is we can issue as supervisor. So okay, so any question here? So it can be easily to understand what is the top management, what is the lower management, but what is the middle manager? What is the middle manager? Middle manager meaning is I want to be considered as an interpreter person. The person who changed the employee to the person who changed the people to the employee, the person who changed to the lower management to the management to the real management. The person is the person who stand between the company and the employee, employer and employee. That person is the middle management person. That person is just like the making the when they got the same mission from the top management, they sharing to the lower management to be improving their thinking, to be improving their productivity, not the doing operation by themselves. Middle management person is not the doing operation by themselves. To be trying to be improving and trying to be negotiate between the top management and the lower management. So and the person who sharing the mission. So this is the middle management person. It means the middle management person changing the saturation, internet saturation. Because of, maybe you can show if the internet is not strong, that company will not be go ahead. Because of if the employee goal and the employer goal is not a match, that goal straight is very very far. You can be shown that. So if the top management and the lower management so not have the same goal, cannot be get that goal easily. That means that to be cooperate each other. This is the middle management person's working responsibility. So middle management person is the person who changing the company, who changing. So you can be assured as the changing person. interpreter person. TER, interpreter.
TRA.
Interpreter person. So you can assume. So it means that person was a limitation, not have limitation, but the lower management person have the limitation one because they have the job description. What they need to do the operation. So they have the job description. So their what is the limitation? This was a limitation, unlimited. So we can be easily to become the lower manager. Lower managers only need the experience, the skill, and the knowledge. If you have that, you can easily to become the lower management person. So that person is every time will be busy. Every time will be busy. That person will be every time busy. But middle management person will not be busy. Because middle management person use their brain and working by their subordinate. Working by their subordinate. So middle management person is just they are working is a limitation and they will not be busy because they are used to brain. But lower management person every time very busy and they because they use their body, they use their physical, and their job also have the limitation. Of course, middle management person also need to have task because they need to be monitoring the lower management person. But they didn't do the operation by themselves. Doing the operation by lower management person. So it means that middle management person is just the interpreter and changing person in the internally. So if the nothing middle management person, what will happen in the company? And issue that company will become dead company. Dead company because of no realization, no circulation. Lower management also will be doing themselves. Top management also will make decision by themselves. So, if no interpreter person, that cycle, valuation cycle will be not running. So that's why that company will become the dead company. Dead company. So, but in the market is every time changing. Market is every time flexible. So, how can we go in? Because our company that market is just like the flexible. So how can we go through in that market? So every time maybe you can be seeing I want to give the example. If you are in the ocean, but if you go is just like stop that, how can you through that ocean? So not if you are stopping because of the you can assume the top management person just the captain and the middle management person just the little just a shipman person. Seaman one. Sailor. So if the captain is want to be control their boat with the right side, but if the seaman or sailor want to be control right side, so how can we go that? Finally that boat will be stopped. Because cannot go that cannot go that. That will be stopped. When in the storm camp or when the very high wave camp will be stopped. So finally what will happen? Deeply fall down. If you fall down, it's not the only captain, not the only seaman, all of the passengers in the boat also will be fall down. So if the no middle management person, the company is will be become the dead company. So at the time cannot be keep the company long time and they cannot be get the finally will be liquidation. So I want to be explain. So find the middle management person is very important in the with the life cycle, company life cycle. So company is you can mention have the full phrase. Everybody you can understand the company is have the company life cycle is have the full phrase. One is the introduction, one is the second is a growing state, third is a maturity state, so fourth is a decline. So when the company is is a maybe we can know easily the life cycle. So every company have the four phase. One is the introduction phase, and the second is the growing phase, and third is the maturity phase, and fourth is the decline phase. So what is introduction phase? Introduction means that the company trying to be set up their good way, trying to be stable in the market, trying to be studying, selling, trying to be keeping employee. Just like this is the introduction. Just entrepreneur. So just studying, find the marketing, studying trying to keep their company in the market. So this is the introduction phase, and the growing phase. Growing phase is they have the one of the place in the market. Some persons can be know their name, and their product is a little studying popular in the market. Their service is some persons studying know they call the customer, and their operation start. So and very their sales also increase. So this is the growing phase. And in the maturity phase, all is very stable. They got a lot of the profit. So they because their market is not popular in the market. Their product, their service. So that's why they got the profit. They got so many money. So their cash flow is very stable, very high. So this is a stable situation. So the life cycle is if you are stable, you studying to be down. If you are just like increase, you can be increased. But if you already stable, this is the maybe starting to be decline. This is the life cycle nature. So if you are after the maturity state, the company is soon will be decline. Very potential to be decline. So in the if phase is how we can be good. If they don't have the management person, what will happen in the market? So this is just like the ocean. Market is every time flexible. Company also every time need to be good that way. So in the introduction phase, computing what is the media? Introduction phase. Introduction phase is we need to be strategy, right? Because we need to be introduce our service, our product to the market. So many strategy will be needed. But do you think strategy is will be only one? No, right? Strategies need to be changed again. Just like the plan do check cycle. Strategy every time need to be changing. So the top management person every time will be changing their decision based on the company to be introducing to be stable. And if they're stable, every time they will be changing their decision. Every time the strategies will be changing. So top management person immediately will be changing strategy, will be set up the strategy, will be doing the policy in the company. So in the introduction phase, strategies so many will be changing. So if after that there will be implementation, that strategy, implementation. So in the introduction phase, strategy and implementation is very important. If the top management person is trying to behold their own one the strategy, surely cannot be go down phase. In the when the introduction phase will be fall down, that will be decline. Cannot be go to because cannot be changing the strategy. If only the strategy goes also cannot. Implementation also need. Only strategy without actions cannot be do anything. So in the first phase, the top management person need to be doing so many times strategy and the implementation. So to be doing it, middle management person need to be supporting to the top management person. Need to support it. Without middle management person supporting, if the only lower management person, how they can be understanding all of that, they may be considered why the top management person recently changed their strategy, recently changed their action. Why the top management person is trying to be implemented before the first implementation is not yet complete. Why they may be so other times so many persons will be given, will be leave. But if the middle management person try to interpret in between the top management, lower management, they can be explained why top management person is doing like that strategy, why changing, why immediately doing. So at that time, the top lower management person, because as I told, middle management using their brain, lower management using their physical, so cannot be considered too much. That so brains need to be controlled, physical. So at that time, if the top management person is machines and middle management person can sharing. So middle management in that phrase, middle management person supporting is very neat. Without middle management person supporting, top management cannot be go ahead anymore. So will be if the not middle management person is nothing, that introduction phrase will be declined immediately. So this phrase is important for the middle management person. And the second phrase is growing state. In the growing state, you can be seen our sale also increase. But if the only sale increase, if the wages also increase, if the cost also increase, how can we count? As every time the management need to make the balance between the investment and the profit. Without the profit cannot be investment. Without investment cannot be get the profit. So relationship to make the balance. So top management person need to be checking. Only the sale increase, cost increases, only profits will be down and no profit and the loss. At the time also the will be decline. So in that phrase, what's the needed standardization? Standardization meaning is that need to be the need probabilities will be very high. So well organization in the company. Well organization meaning is that every person is need to be the probability will be higher. So to be got the standardized management process, middle management process need to be checking and monitoring the productivity of the lower management process. So only just the higher risk capable process, knowledgeable process, not the solving way. We need to be hiring the an experienced person. We need to sharing the work. So at the time, standardization will be carried. At the time, we manager need to be sharing their knowledge, their know-how to the each employee. It means that the management person need to be sharing their know-how to the company. So if they cannot be do, only the trying to be keep holding our knowledge, only that person can be doing. At that time, middle management person will be go to the lower management person. If the middle management cannot be teaching, cannot be sharing their know-how to the lower management person, if the lower management person cannot be sharing their know-how to the staff, junior staff, that company surely cannot get the standardization. Surely. So that growing state is very important to be supporting the top management person to be make the judgment for the balancing between the investment and the profit. If the no profit, no investment, so the standardization is neat at that time. The middle management person supporting is very neat in that time. So middle management person need to be solved. At first, middle management person first need to do is need to share the know-how to the another person, the company. So and the company hiring the new staff and need to be teaching because we need to be check the cost also, cost saving also, productivity also. So at that time, the standardization very neat. So this is the growing state. So after the maturity, after the companies can be solve that state also, can solve that state also. At the time, the companies will become the maturity state. So what the maturity state? As I told you, all of the security is stable. Productivity also good, profit also good, can be made the investment. Their marketing also can get the good result, and their name also goodwill also can be stable in the market. All of the situation are stable. So what happened? What happened is that the middle management person, top management person, all of the person in the top management person, middle management person will be assumed their way is correct. No need to do anymore. Need to be keep in that situation. Their previous way is correct. That's why they can get that maturity. So otherwise they will not be doing anything. Only just staying, doing the normal. So as I said, the companies when they got the top, easy to be declined. So in that phrase, that dangerous is the top management also middle management also assume their previous way is correct and now stable. They satisfy their current situation. They very well satisfy their current situation. There is a very big problem. Because of they very well satisfy, they did not consider too much. Because in that introduction phrase, top management need to consider so many, and the middle management need to be supporting so many, and they go together. But in that situation, that condition appear again in the company. That condition, because top management also didn't do anything, middle management also didn't do anything, lower management also just doing the operation, normal, every time normal, daily situation. So at the time, the company became that condition again. So if the that condition can, you want to decline. So in the mature state, what we need to do? We need to make innovation. We need to go that step again. Make the innovation. So when we need to make it, when the studying we consider the decline, if we make the innovation very late, totally late. When we study our company's decline, when in nearly that place, we are or nearly that place, we are studying make if we are studying make the innovation, surely study decline. So when we need to make the study make the innovation, nearly that place. Before maturity or the beginning of the maturity, you can make sure at the end of the program, you can be studying to make the innovation. So at the time, you need to be studying the strategy again, the implementation again, just like the introduction stage. So the middle management person need to be supporting or something. So this is the nearly same with the yin and yang theory also. This is nearly same with the yin and yang theory also. Cycles need to be cyclization, yin and yang. Need to be cyclization. So this is the same with the yin and yang theory. So in that phrase is that at that time maybe can you media management partner or maybe can we consider I'm so busy because of I'm doing so many things. Because I cannot be considering innovation. I cannot be changing the company again. Because I already done that phrase. So I cannot be doing maybe media management and top management person. Maybe top management was on decision making. But mostly the media management or lower management will be considered like I'm very busy. I cannot be change anything. I cannot be innovation. I want to be do current situation. Maybe they know where we decline, but they cannot be effort. They cannot be give them more effort, additional effort. Because of so we need to be consider. So how do we change it? How do we change in that situation? So we need to be changed 3 steps. So we need to change. First, we need to consider. Urgent work and important work. Urgent work and important work. First, what is the urgent work? What is the important work? Urgent work is just like doing the daily operation. Short-term hour goal. This is our short-term goal, current work. So important work is what? Important work, long-term our goal. Long-term goal. So short-term is not. Important is a long-term goal. So maybe no need to be doing now, but need to be doing for the future. So most of the hours maybe we can be know what is important, what is the urgent, but we are postponing the important test. Because this is not the current. So we are postpone. So finally we cannot be doing it. Only we try to be solve the urgent work. So to be changing, to be made the innovation again, at the first you need to be doing the important work and urgent work. You need to be separated in your important work and urgent work. So only the focus urgent work and don't focus the important work is cannot be changed anything. If you want to change, you need to be changing that first. Urgent work and you need to separate, you need to manage urgent work and important work. This is the first problem. Second is maybe the most of the person is consider is if we want the urgent what evaluation because of evaluation result, because in the short term goal most is we evaluate with how much you can get the profit last quarter, how much you can get the customer in that quarter, how much you are productivity improving in that quarter. So at the time, evaluation is based on that current work. Because current work is we can get the 95% of the profit. Only 5% is maybe for the we can get the future is only maybe 5%. So we make the evaluation. We make the evaluation by ourselves, or maybe the company also make the evaluation. So we neglect the important work. Because of evaluation. So we need to be considered. The companies want to be got the company makes to be keep the company long time in the market, not the short term goal. The companies don't check only short term, check the long term also. So that's why we need to be consider long time the future also. Because of evaluation result, only we consider for 95 that current work. In the future, surely our evaluation will be zero. So that's why most of the person also cannot be doing. So to be changing ourselves, we need to be consider one is how to be managed urgent work and important work. Second is please do not evaluation too much for the short term. Please consider the long term also. Please evaluate long term also. So at that time you can be studying to change. We need to solve 3 ways. First is that managing of the urgent important. Second is please do not evaluate too much on the current situation, current goal. And that maybe management process can be understand that first problem and second problem. The other time they maybe say that they even know they cannot be doing, they cannot be changed because of the companies until now they cannot be handled by same test. They cannot be created well organization until now. Maybe they maybe say like that. Actually, I'm also nearly that same problem I thought. So maybe we can be management person, maybe can know how to manage urgent work, important work, how to be not how we should not be set in only short term goal, we should be set at the long term goal, but we cannot be do because of standardization not complete yet. Not a complete standardization, cannot be sharing, cannot be handover completely, cannot be created well organization in the growing state. It means our delay of the standardization. Because of the delay of the standardization, in the mature state cannot be changed anything anymore. So the company also, that also will face the problem. So when we have the arrive our state, we need to be doing completely. If the growing state, we must be doing the standardization, completely standardization. While the maturity state, if we are trying to do the standardization again, that manager will not be freely, so cannot be making the strategy and implementation again. So that problem because of the delay of the standardization. That's why also that manager cannot be changed their busy. So there's we need to consider how to change our busy to the freely. How to be making the strategy and implementation again in the growing in the maturity phase. See that issue.